Welcome to It's All About You, a program that keeps you connected to all the exciting events and services the City of Urbana has to offer. I'm your host, Natalie Kenny Marquez. On today's show, we'll learn how the Public Works Department keeps you safe during the winter months and chat with Jessica Snyder about the Middle Market. We'll also talk with City Attorney Jim Simon. But first, I'm joined by Sylvia Morgan from the Urbana Police Department. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Let's start off with you sharing with us a little bit about your background and being here with the City of Urbana.
Sure. I started at the city in June of 1993, so about 21 and a half years ago. I was hired as a police officer, and after going to the academy and going through the field training program, I was on the street as a patrol officer for a couple years. And then I had the opportunity to put in for the Illinois State Police Drug Task Force, which was a cumulative group from all the departments in the area would donate an officer or two to make up this bigger group to deal with some of the drug problems in the county. Basically. So there were state police, Champaign County Sheriff's Office, Champaign City, and the University of Illinois, Rantoul police officers. I put in for that, not thinking that I would get it because I was only on the street for a couple years, but then they chose me to go, and I did that for 2 years. And then I was brought back to the police department. We had a kind of a manning shortage at that time, so they brought me back into the criminal investigations division, which is one of our divisions that handles all the higher profile type cases. So the more involved forgeries or robberies, murders, of course, which we don't have very many of, thank goodness. But so we handle all those more involved investigations, and I did that for 3 years. Then I was promoted to sergeant, and I went back to the street as a patrol sergeant. I really love working the street, though. That's my favorite, to be there when people call for help and to be there when, you know, basically helping people when, and maybe on their worst day. Right. So that really has been my favorite. And then I did a short stint filling in as a temporary lieutenant. During that time I was a sergeant. And then I was also assigned as the sergeant of the street crimes unit, which the task force that I spoke of earlier dissolved. And we then made our own street crimes unit here at the police department. And our 3-man street crime unit does a lot of work in the community trying to solve all kinds of problems, not just drug-related problems, but if, say, we have a rash of burglaries, motor vehicle burglaries, or something along that lines, they'll map those out, see like where they're happening, try to come up with a plan on how to address them, and try to catch the people that are doing it. So they do a lot of really good proactive work that cuts down on some of the work that the patrol officers have to do because they kind of catch these guys in the bigger types of, you know, serial crimes like that. So they're a very, very important part of the patrol division. And then 2 years ago, well, it's almost been 3 years ago, I guess, I was promoted to the deputy chief position. So I've been doing that since March of 2012.
Excellent. That's a great broad background. And what types of things do you do in your current position?
Most of the things I handle are personnel issues and working with the community on an administrative level. So going to a lot of events that represent the department versus going out and handling calls on the street.
Excellent. And you've talked about a lot about the department itself, more than just patrol.
Right.
But how many staff make up the police department? How's it divided?
Yeah. So we have 55 sworn police officers, but we have 72 total employees, if I'm counting that right. And we have the front desk of the police department where we have our police service representatives. They're a very important part of the department because they handle all of the data entry into the database system that we refer to whenever with reports and victims and offenders and everybody that we speak to on the street. They also handle phone calls at the front desk and anybody that walks into the police department that needs help. So we have that front desk area, the services division, and then we have as the criminal investigations division, which I spoke of, which handle the higher level investigations, and then we have the patrol division. So those are the 3 main divisions that we have.
Excellent. And you touched on this a little bit too, but how does the Urbana Police Department work with other agencies in the community? Because I know it being Champaign-Urbana and then the U of I kind of straddling on both communities, you probably have to work together quite often.
Sure. And we rely on them sometimes because we're the smaller of all those agencies. So we may not have enough people on the street to handle a really big event. So for instance, if we had a really big event and all of our officers had to respond to that and our supervisors, then we may call upon the university or the Champaign County Sheriff's Office. Usually those are the two we rely on the most to say, hey, go handle some of our routine calls for us so we can deal with this big event over here. So we couldn't do it without the partnership that we have with them. Champaign, of course, would help us anytime they need, but obviously the U of I is a little bit closer, and Champaign County Patrols area is really close to Urbana as well. So they're the most logical people to come and help us, at least the first people we request to help us.
Yeah. So the police department has a website with lots of great information. I've been to it before and have read through, especially in my marketing position. But where can we go to learn more? Are there some information that our residents should know about, especially in the winter months? Things like that?
Sure, yeah, we have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and I couldn't tell you what that is, but I know it's hooked up to our Facebook account, yes. And Lieutenant Searles handles all of that for us. So he puts a lot of good information out there and reminders about when there's bad weather coming and things that you can do and tips on how to stay safe and stuff like that. So that's the best place to go for some of that more up-to-date kind of stuff. Right. Now, we do have a lot of information on the website about, well, right now we're open and up for the police department positions. We're going to have a test in January 17th. So I think all the applications have to be in sometime around the first part of January, so there's still time to do that if you go to the website and you can look for job opportunities for that. We also have a ride-along program that we like to let people know about, because if you think, well, I've always kind of been interested in being a police officer, but I'm not really sure, you could ask for a ride-along, and once the person that's in charge of the ride-alongs kind of does a little checking and approves you for the ride-along, then you come in and we give you a bulletproof vest to wear, and you ride along with one of the officers and kind of get to see firsthand what it is we do and some of the things that we handle. So you can see, maybe this is for me, or maybe it's not. So
it's a great experience,
yes,
either way.
Yes.
And where can folks go to get more information about that?
There is a link on the police department section of the website, and it says Ride Along Program, and there's a PDF there on what it's about and who you need to contact to do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
It's a pleasure having you on the show, and we appreciate your service for the city of Urbana.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Pavement markings and signs are used to warn and direct motorists and bicyclists and to regulate traffic. There are several new bicycle markings and signs throughout both Champaign and Urbana to be aware of.
And we're back with It's All About You, and I'm joined by the gurus of the Operations Division of the City of Urbana's Public Works Department. Thanks for joining us today. And let's kick it off with describing the Operations Division. What is it that you guys do for the City of Urbana?
The overall picture of what we do is we maintain the concrete and asphalt streets. We maintain the sidewalks, the right-of-ways, the road ditches, the signs, the paint markings, the bike lanes. We also maintain all the arbor division, all the trees, the landscaping that's on the city right-of-way, sewers, all the storm and sanitary sewers we maintain. Signs, did I mention that already? Mm-hmm. And anything else I'm forgetting, gentlemen? Along bike parking, we maintain that.
Electrical.
Just this past year, Mr. Murphy installed the new covered bike shelter at Lincoln Square with new bike racks.
And an occasional public art installation.
That's true.
from time to time.
Yeah. And everything in between.
And everything else we're asked to do. Another big part of what we do, special events in the summertime, the setup and traffic control and tear down and clean up, especially the Sweet Corn Festival, and then we've got the Illinois Marathon every May or late April.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely stay busy. We don't have much downtime.
And So that's a lot of projects, a lot of programs that you cover. What's the staffing like in the operations division?
I don't recall the exact number, but we're 32 or 33 plus as far as union staff. If you include the managers and the supervisors, we're getting 41, 42, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And one of the probably the most significant things that you have to deal with during the winter months is the snow operations.
Snow's a lot of fun.
But you're good at what you do. You've won a few of the snow rodeos, right?
Yes, last year we did quite well in the snow rodeo. We had a team that finished first and won 2 of the 3 separate categories for the event, and then I believe every other team that we had that had entered placed in particular events, whether it was the written test or the circle of safety or the obstacle course. This year we still did pretty good in the snow rodeo. Our teams finished first, second, and third in the written portion of the snow rodeo competition. We didn't place in the top 3 overall, but we had a lot of fun. Snow rodeos are just a lot of fun.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about how the operations work here in Urbana for our residents and businesses.
As far as snow removal?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way things are set up, when we have the operations manager, and then we have Mike Robards does a snow watch. He'll be the, what I want to call, he'll initiate all of our efforts in the beginning. Andy's also a snow removal supervisor, and we have Vince Gustafson, who will also fill in, who worked quite a bit last year. We'll monitor the weather almost every day. We're always looking at the weather to see what the extended forecast reads and what's coming up. And we also have AccuWeather will provide us with advanced warning of any snow or ice situations that might be coming up. And then once we get those reports and we see that there's something forecasted in the weather, we'll sit down and discuss how we want to handle it. And
Right, the 3 of us sit down in a non-formal meeting and hash out what we think we're going to need to fight the snow.
And there's a lot of different scenarios that can come up, whether they're just calling for half an inch of snow or a quarter of an inch of ice or 6 inches of snow and when. It does us a lot of good to sit down and talk about how we want to start off doing this and what we want to do as the event plays out and how we want to staff it and the equipment needs and the needs of the city and how we want to address it.
And you communicate a lot of this through either the city's website or through social media or on UPTV. But where can folks go to learn more about the cycle of plowing the roads and primary versus secondary streets? Can you explain some of those things? Or
on the city website, we try and post as the weather's coming or during an event what we are doing and what stages we are at, and on that page there's a link at the bottom of that will take you to the city's snow removal, and it will list all the maps and our procedures and the rotation in which we do a lot of things, including how we when we do the sidewalks, and then we also have the sidewalk snow removal ordinance will also be posted on the city's website. And anytime we've had over 2 inches of snow, the city will always always maintain their sidewalks regardless of the amount of snow or ice. But anytime we get over 2 inches, we ask the business owners to clean the sidewalks adjacent to their property for people to pass. But we always will address the primary routes first, and those are the most traveled streets in Urbana, the Lincoln Avenue and the Main Street and Broadway, Vine. And that if somebody's leaving a residential area, they're going to eventually end up on one of those streets, and those are the busiest and most traveled, and we want to take care of those first in rotation. And then we have the secondary routes, and those are routes that spring off the primary routes to other areas of town. The frontage roads and around some of the businesses and through some of the subdivision areas of town. And then we have the residential routes, and that's just about every other street in town. And then the cul-de-sacs after that. The cul-de-sacs take separate equipment It takes, with the circles at the ends, it takes the unloaders and the backhoes have to go clean those. And those are usually towards the end of our rotation. And then we move on to the sidewalks and the parking lots. But then again, a lot of times, a lot of that's happening at the same time. We're finishing up primaries, we've moved to secondaries, we're finishing up secondaries, and then we're on residentials, cul-de-sacs, and then some crews are working on sidewalks or parking lots.
Right.
But it's always a progressive motion. We won't always just finish all the primaries and then go start on something. We're progressing from one to the other, and a lot of times working on all of them at once.
I'm sure it varies too depending on the weather event. If sometimes it just keeps going, and
Well, timing's a big part of it too. Obviously, if it's going to start snowing before close of business for the day, we're going to try to keep the main roads open for people leaving
Right.
work. Same thing if it's a long-standing event where it's going to be snowing all night, we're going to definitely put our focus on primaries and secondaries, keeping all the routes to the hospitals open. And then we also in the past have provided assistance to the police and fire departments. If there's been a road or an issue they need to get to, we'll kind of lead the way for them to be able to get down a road.
But even with our maps that are listed on the website, there are so many other aspects in that too. We have the special attention areas where the wind and drifting might be an issue. We've got a separate Brick Street maps. We've got a separate maps for the bike lanes and the bike routes. They require different attention than just driving lanes and streets. We've got our sidewalk maps showing all the city sidewalks that we have to maintain.
Parking lots.
Parking lot maps, and those maps are marked where we have locations where we stockpile snow. If we get them out that needs to be pushed in a pile. And those locations are also easily accessible for us to haul off. We have our special, or our slow zones we've got on the maps. The downtown areas and some of the other areas where the sidewalk's adjacent to the curb. We require that our plow operators slow down and just deposit the snow along the curb line and not throw it up over the sidewalk and up into the yard, because somebody's going to have to clean that sidewalk shortly after we're done with our snow plowing operations on the street. So we don't want to pile it up there too far. Keep it along the curb where it will melt and then run off into a storm drain. That's helped out an awful lot since we've had the sidewalk snow removal ordinance. And then all the new bump outs and the sidewalk and intersection changes we've had over the years. The bump outs that they've added to the downtown area in Florida and Philo, so the pedestrians have a shorter path to get across the road, also creates an obstacle for our snowplow operators, and those are well marked on the map to remind them of those locations.
so we've covered pretty much that you are the gurus of the division. You are expert map readers, you are weathermen, and you kind of know it all for the roads and how to keep them tidy and maintained.
We've also got a very good support staff that's working with us on every snow removal. We've got all of our equipment operators, all the maintenance workers, and the part-timers and the seasonals that help out through the winter. If it wasn't for those guys, we wouldn't look as good as we do.
Hi, my name is Phil Edwards. I am the Fire Marshal for the City of Urbana. Today I'd like to talk to you about fire safety. One of the top causes of fires in homes is cigarette smoking. In Champaign County alone, there has been 31 fires and at least 2 fatalities in the last 5 years, according to the Office of the State Fire Marshal. When smoking, we would like for you to think about not just the safety of yourself and your family, but the families that are around you. You can practice that type of safety by using extreme caution when smoking. First of all, we ask that you pay attention to your surroundings when smoking. Smoke at least 25 feet away from buildings. And also, we ask that you use non-combustible containers to dispose of the cigarette butts. Never smoke in a home that has medical oxygen, because that increases the intensity of the fire. For more information on smoke-free multi-unit housing, you can contact Champaign-Urbana Public Health District at 217-531-4252.
Thanks for joining us today, Jessica. And today we're going to talk about the middle market. I can't believe it's that time again for the Middle Market. Tell us the dates and times for this season.
Well, this year it's still going to be the same as the holiday market, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. inside Lincoln Square. And this year we've added some more dates. We'll have the market on January 17th, February 7th and 21st, March 21st, and April 4th and 18th. It usually was just the third Saturday of the month, January to April, but we wanted to do a little test run and add some more dates because we heard that there was a desire for that. So see how it goes.
That's awesome. So the holiday market went well in 2014, right?
Yeah, it was a great season.
And so do you have a lot of those same vendors returning to the Middle Market in 2015?
Yeah, we do. We have some old favorites. Well, Triple S Farms will be there again. This was their first year at the holiday market, and they'll be coming to the Middle Market as well. And some other new ones like Pasta Alley, and we'll have some of our old favorites like the Cousins Dog Biscuit Company and Earthly Pleasures, and I think Picar is going to join too, so lots of great ones.
Where can folks go to learn more about the Middle Market?
We could go on our website. That's urbanabusiness.com/events/Middle Market. We have a Facebook page and also a Twitter page as well.
And about how many vendors do you expect to be at the Middle Market in 2015?
It's a little bit smaller than the holiday market because this is only our third season, and the holiday market's been going on for 12 years now. So last year we averaged about 30 or so vendors each week, and we expect to at least meet that, but hopefully exceed that as well.
Well, that's still an excellent size of farmers market, and I think it's great that folks can shop local all year round.
Definitely agree.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about the Middle Market for this year? I know I'm excited to attend.
Well, thanks. I guess, yeah, well, another way you can find out more about the Middle Market is you can sign up for our, I guess it'll be bi-weekly newsletter online. We'll provide a link there for you to sign up for that.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us and filling us in on the Middle Market, and can't wait to shop.
No problem. Thanks.
It's the job you looked for. All the qualifications are perfect, but during the interview, you learned that the position has already been filled. Why was it available an hour ago?
If you've been a victim of employment discrimination because of race, color, national origin, sexual orientation, religion, age, physical disability, or mental disability, let the Urbana Human Relations Commission help. Please call 217-384-2466.
And we're back with It's All About You, and I have Jim Simon on the program today. Thank you for joining us.
You are entirely welcome.
So tell us a little bit about your background, Jim.
Obviously, I'm an attorney because I'm the city attorney. I've been practicing for almost 38 years now. I originally started out on the corporate side working with a large law firm representing hospital organizations. I then moved on after 2 years to a smaller law firm where I got involved in complex commercial litigation and worked as a trial attorney until 2007. Then I became general counsel to a small investment company, and then counsel to a bankruptcy firm, and then I came down to Urbana a little over 2 years ago.
And so you've been with us for a couple of years as the city's attorney, and can you tell us a little bit about your role here in Urbana?
I have two basic functions. One is to handle certain legal matters, and the other is to supervise my staff. The legal division within the city is comprised of 5 individuals. At the top is myself as city attorney. I have 2 outstanding assistant city attorneys and 2 terrific legal assistants.
And what are some of the projects that your division works on here at the city of Urbana?
Much to everyone's chagrin within the city staff, we have our hands in just about everything. We review all kinds of contracts, whether they're IDOT contracts for the Public Works Department, or whether they are contracts involving Habitat for Humanity or intergovernmental agreements for the Community Development Services Department, or whether they're grant contracts for the police department. Recently, I developed a set of legal specifications for the fire department's efforts to acquire a new pumper truck. Of course, they've developed the detailed specifications and requirements that they were looking for their particular vehicle. So we get involved in a lot of contract review. We get involved in property acquisition. We get involved in property disposition, demolition. As you know, we are in the process of trying to take down the Hanford Inn. Worked on some of that with outside attorneys. So wide variety of, the legal division does a wide variety of matters relating to contracts and property. We also represent the city in court for ordinance violations. Right now, one of my assistant city attorneys is in the midst of a trial involving 3 buildings that were non-compliant with city building codes. We enforce city ordinances in city court and also supervise outside counsel that's retained to handle larger matters such as personal injury matters. We also get involved with employment disputes, the legal aspects. We have a terrific HR division and HRO officer, but we provide legal assistance for them in terms of employment matters. Just about anything legal, we have our fingers in it. It's like being counsel to a sizable corporation.
Right.
Of many of the same matters and even more.
What are some of the things that you've enjoyed coming down to Urbana? I know you moved here from up north.
Yes.
And so just for fun, what are some things that you've enjoyed about your move down here?
First of all, my wife and I met here 44 years ago.
So there is a connection
and there's
to
the
downstate
connection.
Illinois.
We both graduated from University of Illinois. And I've always loved the community, and she has too. But we lived up north, northern suburbs of Chicago. But we always said when our children were grown, we'd love to move to a college town because we like the ambience of a college town. And when the opportunity to come down here arose, we took it. And we love it. We love the pace. We love the people. It's an entirely different world. When you walk down the street, people say hi, and they smile at you. Up north, they grumble. I enjoy the proximity of everything within the community. I enjoy where I work very much. I've said to the mayor on many occasions that I thoroughly enjoy working with everybody here. I have never experienced an environment like this where everybody is very professional, very dedicated, but thoroughly enjoys what they're doing and has a wonderful sense of interaction.
Well, we're so glad that you moved downstate,
Thank you.
and we appreciate your dedication to the city of Urbana and your service to the community. So thank you so much.
Thank
Jim.
you.
So for more information on the city of Urbana, you can visit their website at urbanaillinois.us. From there, you can watch this program on demand and download our audio podcast. We appreciate you tuning in today and hope you'll join us again soon. And remember, it's all about you.